Hey, this is Sander from Doorn. Cheers.
Well then, how are you today?
I'm good, how are you?
You had an excellent set.
Yes.
I'm gonna commend you because I've been underground and you brought me out of it. That's saying a lot. You give me hope for progressive music.
Well, you know, it's just it's how it works with the crowd. You know, there was so much energy tonight. You know, you connect and then I don't know, you start to play even better. You know, it's just this vibe going on here. First time playing here and just insane tonight. You know, it's a Tuesday night and you know.
Well, you know, Michigan knows how to party.
Oh, yeah.
Can't deny. So when you were growing up, can you describe the EDM environment that you grew up in? What was going on?
Well, it started out to me, you know, and I had a big brother. And, he always bought records like Depeche Mode, more like disco kind of records. So that was my first introduction to beats, so to say. And I first bought my record, and the first one was Technotronic Pump Up the Jam. And that was really a little bit of a house track, that was. So that's how I kind of started to get into it. When I was 16 years old, I went to parties for the first time. 18 years old, I went to a club in my hometown, Eindhoven, where they started playing more groovy house.
Yeah.
So, you know, I was completely sold that night. So I started playing more housey stuff. And kind of lit the spark.
So who was your favorite DJ to go see or listen to?
Back then, the resident DJ in that club I just mentioned was actually Marco V.
Wow.
So, yeah, he was the resident, played there every Friday night. I think even the Thursday night. So, you know, I was a student myself, so I would go out pretty much every single night. And Thursdays and Fridays he was
Sounds like my week.
Sounds like a global phenomenon, isn't it?
So what kicked you into, what was that exact moment that kicked you into producing?
Actually, a friend of my dad, he had this shop with all these instruments, and there was this new instrument called a Groovebox 303, which is kind of like a drum computer where you can add some sounds as well. So I got one of those drum computers just for borrowing it and testing it out, so I was completely sold, you know, with the whole making beats and stuff. So I decided to buy it, you know, worked for it a couple of months, and that's how it kind of all started.
Just to get the girls, right?
There you go.
Yeah. So you played WMC this year. So how did you find WC this year, especially that the EDM explosion has been growing in America?
Yeah.
How did you see it as compared to other years?
For me personally, I think the WMC this year was the best one for me till date. The atmosphere was phenomenal, and it was very useful. You know, a lot of good parties and a lot of press there. Also, we did the showcase of my new single, Nothing Inside, together with Miami, and you know, we really figured this is what Miami should be about, you know, presenting singles, you know, and going to parties, obviously. And so we did both, and with a good result.
Can't hide that part, right?
No, exactly.
So what other US festivals are you going to be playing?
I'm headlining, I'm on main stage for EDC Vegas, and I'm also main stage for Electric Zoo this year, so I'm definitely doing those parties. And besides that, obviously Ibiza is coming up, so that's gonna be crazy.
Always crazy.
Always crazy.
Going more into your productions now, under Purple Haze, you came up with the tracks Blixem, Him 2.0, and Purple Haze. What inspired that dark overtone for those tracks?
You know, it's actually the way you kind of use your keyboard in the studio, and I think also with inspirations from bands like Radiohead, Sigur Rós, I'm a big fan of Fever Ray, The Cure, MGMT, all those kind of bands, especially Radiohead. There's a kind of use of chords which is kind of moody. It's actually using the chords the wrong way, so to say, not the classical way. So I started, you know, do it myself, a little bit of experimenting there, and the first track was Adrenaline that came out, and it kind of progressed from then on. It's just very fun to sometimes, you know, be in a moody atmosphere and just produce a track like that.
So you have a new track coming out, Nothing Inside of Miami.
Yeah.
How did you come about to working with her? How did that go?
Well, actually, she sent her vocal clean to the record company, and they were just like, oh, you gotta listen to this one. So I listened to it. Obviously, I was completely sold. It kind of, for me, had kind of like an Adele kind of feel to it, and you know, also a little bit of Lana Del Rey. Turned out the songwriter of the track is actually the same writer as Lana Del Rey video games. So that's why, you know, I connected instantly. So I started producing away, It took me weeks to get it right, you know, with different tempos in the track, and you know, when it was finished, it's just like, yeah, I was actually blown away myself. Like, this is.
You're like, oh,
I
I just did that, right?
Yeah, this is good. So yeah, we showcased the track over Miami, which went great.
You played it here tonight.
I played it here tonight.
Good reception.
You know,
I know I was cheering.
Yeah, there you go. And yeah, so we did the live show as well over at Ultra Festival. And just response just insane.
I mean, it's hard not to when you have a live act here with a DJ.
Yeah, well, we have a Miami After movie right now. It's just been released last week, and actually the footage of Ultra Festival was at that track. So it's just looking back at it, it's just crazy.
Funny you should say that because I just watched it. I definitely recommend checking it out.
Yeah,
it's a fun video. Would you say in the studio you use Logic or Ableton, or what's your preference?
I work on Logic. I use Ableton for doing edits and mixes and stuff, but for producing I use Logic 9. You know, it's soft synths. Still work with a lot of analog synths as well, you know, just to get the whole
real feel.
Natural sound, you know, especially with bass lines. And so hardware synths, software synths, and making setups on the laptop on the road as much as possible. Just with so much shows going on, you kind of have to.
Yeah.
You know, you're in the studio to finish tracks these days, not to make a complete track.
Yeah, since you're so busy.
Yeah. So it's a different way of producing, but you know, it's really working out for me. And so it's a lot of software as well these days.
Have you ever used Ableton for your live sets? Because I know it's pretty handy for that, or not?
Yeah, you know, for me, Ableton is very fixed, so to say. I like the feel of the CD players. I'm looking into mixing with Serato because I can still use the CD players, still have to pitch it, you know, and get it right. In other words, I can still mess it up, so that for me makes it more alive. But yeah, Ableton is a great program to make edits and you know, radio show sets and stuff.
Who would you think you run most parallel to?
Style-wise, I would say it's kind of like a cross section between different artists. A little bit of Swedish House Mafia, a little bit of you know, Afrojack with some records. You know, Mark Knightish. I like to play techno as well, so it's actually this big pile of producers and DJs. I'm kind of in the middle of that.
When did you start your label?
I started my label about 2.5, 3 years ago.
Okay.
So originally it was supposed to be just a platform for me to release my own tracks. Then all of a sudden I got all these tracks sent to me, and they
got really cool.
Well, you know, I got really good tracks from other producers, so I decided, you know, I'm gonna be involved more with A&R for those artists, you know, just to help them out with their productions and sign into my label. So it kind of started growing, and right now with the tracks coming up, it's crazy. I think we're already, you know, the release schedule for the whole year is already set. So it's crazy.
That's interesting to say that you're involved in the A&R. Did you personally want to do that, or just it happened? Yeah,
you know, it kind of started out with my production videos, the studio sessions, where I kind of explained, you know, the basics of producing, and you know, people started asking questions and sending me tracks, and I would give them advice. So that kind of, you know, that's how the A&R thing kind of originated. So started working with you know, up and coming talent, kind of guide them through the whole track. Like, you know, it's perhaps 12 minutes is a little bit too long, you know. Let's cut it a little bit, and you know, we can make this break better, you know, bigger build up and stuff. And to be honest, it's a really good learning curve for me as a producer as well. You know, you get all this feedback from young kids, you know, with different techniques. And I'm actually just produced a track together with Julian Jordan, and he's only 16 years old.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he was in the studio with me, but he first had to finish his homework before he could come to me. It's just brilliant.
That's hysterical.
But you know, the productions he makes are absolutely insane. So you know, it's just crazy to see the young talent out there these days.